Find us on Facebook, email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or go to our website at head2headpinball.com.
Welcome everybody to the Head2Head Pinball Podcast. This is episode 35 and my name's Martin, and with me...
It's Ryan C, all the way from New York, baby.
Yeah, you're there now.
Yes, I'm staying at Charles Thomas's house. He's got the biggest house I have ever seen in my life. And, you know those big houses that you see in like movies? Like just the really big ones. You're like, how many people live here? Like 30 people?
Yeah.
I'm staying in one of those houses. So I am amazed.
And so you're fresh from coming from Texas.
Yep, spent 3 days in Texas at the Texas Pinball Festival in Frisco, and had an absolutely amazing time. And caught a flight. I was on the airplane with Charles, and Greg Poverelli was in there as well. And it's 1 a.m. currently, and let's talk about pinball, Marty. How was your Texas experience from all the way in Australia? Were you glued to your screen, or? Yeah,
look, I was very pleased that a lot of information was being fed. Most of it was coming from you, thankfully. So yeah. Everybody go to the Head2Head Pinball Facebook page. You'll see all the stuff that we've posted there. Look, I from a very large distance, I managed to get a lot of information about the seminars. Pretty much all of them were filmed and streamed, to the reveals, to people doing walkthroughs of the whole area. Yep, I got my fix.
So the bandwidth was really bad there. So it was mainly Zach from Straight Down the Middle that was providing most of the content. But I see now that the festival's over, people are starting to upload a large amount of their photos, so you will continue to see more.
Yeah. Okay. So then overall, before we get into sort of the individual manufacturers, so overall, how did you find the event?
It was absolutely amazing in pretty much every single way, and there are so many people there and so many things to do that it could almost be like a 4-day festival instead of a 3-day. Just to get everything in, I wanted to play more games, I wanted to talk to more people, I wanted to do more things. The 2.5 days goes lightning fast, and I would definitely go back. Everyone enjoyed it. I didn't hear anyone say any negative things about it, but let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the manufacturers and what they showed and what they revealed. So let's start with Stern, and they did a live Stern of the Union update, and we learned a lot of things. We learned that Supreme Pinball Machine, they won't release the numbers or the prices, and that's up to Supreme. And they said it was similar to the deal they did with Can Crusher, where I believe they approached Stern and they commissioned it on their part. So super duper interesting about Supreme.
Well, he also did say just a little bit on that as well. He did say that it is based on the Spider-Man, that home edition that they've got, but slightly tweaked. He did sort of change some of the ramps just to make it feel better.
Isn't that funny that like a Supreme Pinball Machine has better ramps than Spider-Man? Well, only because like Spider-Man like is meant to be like that flow fest, but I guess that's a different game.
Yeah.
The big news from Stern is that Brian Eddy will be working for Stern and releasing a game in 2016. Now, the funny thing was that. Did you see the slides when it was being live streamed? Was he like showing the slides, or was it just zoomed in on George's face?
I think it showed the slide as well.
Okay, so he put up a picture of Attack from Mars and Medieval Madness, and he said, "Who knows what these two games have in common?" And I screamed out, "Lyman Sheets," because I thought he was going to talk about Lyman, and then someone else screamed out, "Brian Eddy." He said, "Yes, that's right, Brian Eddy." And then he announced it. And then later on he said, AFM and Medieval Madness, critically acclaimed games. What about the Shadow, George? Come on, the Shadow deserves to have a picture next to those two games. Obviously, George doesn't... And I think the Shadow actually outsold both those games as well. Not going to be chosen as a remake, but as our Slam Tilt buddies say, Brian is a 3-for-3 guy. He's released 3 pinball machines, and they're all good. They're all amazing machines.
Well, yeah, and Well, he also did co-design Black Rose. So
yeah, he did the software
there's that
for as well. So, I mean, Stern now have 5 designers, I believe. Keith Alwyn, Steve Ritchie, George Gomez, John Borg, and now Brian Eddy. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of designers. Almost as much as Deep Root, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it was one of the points he did make was that, in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, the design team has grown significantly. Design, programmers, the animators, that whole department has just grown significantly.
Yeah, it's good for pinball. I mean, I think they're making an insane amount, and you just heard whispers of just how busy they are and how they can't kind of keep up because they have so many pinball machines that they can make. They're not just making 1 or 2; they're making like Aerosmith, Ghostbusters. They're still making all these games. Elvira 3 is still happening. Someone asked about that, and he said yes, it will be happening. So I'm guessing 2019 or so. What else did we get? We had a little bit of an argument in the seminar where basically someone asked if Flyman Cheese was retiring, and George Gomez says he pretty much was talking to Kaneda directly, and he said that he's provocative, and to be provocative you have to say a lot of bullshit. That's his game, etc. And then Kaneda started to scream stuff from the crowd back to him, and I didn't want to be sitting next to Kaneda at that point in time. I wanted to kind of call him to a shell or something. It was a bit embarrassing, but it is what it is.
Well, I think George Gomez handled it well.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even want to look in that direction. It was awkward. Anyway, what else? I mean, this is some news about Stern that was just from a conversation I had. We talked about how AC/DC was getting more code. And it was kind of about code balancing. But Lyman told me that he's also planning to give rewards. I guess it's kind of like mini wizard modes, but I don't think you'd be playing a mode. It's more like, hey, you got this far, you get awarded this. And he didn't detail what it was, but he said it would be available possibly after you finish song number 3, song number 6, and song number 9, I think. So kind of like building up to Encore, so it wasn't just like you're just playing all these songs and nothing happens until you get to that right. Final mode. So
further encouragement for people to play different songs.
Exactly. I mean, that's his goal. His goal is that people try to get to Encore every time they play versus just playing the same song over and over again.
So look, there's one thing that you haven't mentioned so far about Stern.
Yes.
And that is Iron Maiden. Was there anything about Iron Maiden?
Well, the game was shown literally 1 inch of the machine. They had their tester, I think his name is Dave. Basically, they gave everyone an inside look of the what do they call it? The testing facility, the gaming facility. It's basically where all the cool kids in Stern hang out, and not like the people that are assembling the games. So it's that locked room with with no window where everyone works, and no one's kind of ever seen inside publicly. And he showed a bunch of slides of what goes on, and there was a picture of Tim Sexton. They cracked a joke about Steve Ritchie being disappointed, etc. But there was a picture of what their code name is Titanium Man, or what they joked that it was called, which is obviously Iron Maiden. And not enough to see what it was, but I took a picture of the picture, and you can't see anything. And I pestered a lot of Stern employees of just show me. You're going to show in a couple of weeks, but they wouldn't even confirm what it was, or. But other people, a bit more liberal with what they said. Not Stern employees, and it's Archer, and it's got 4 flippers, and it's going to be amazing. So I am looking forward to that. April, I believe, is when they're going to announce it, and Gomez pretty much said he'll be doing the game sometime this year, which would be Deadpool, which I guess is in August or somewhere further along the line.
Yep. Were there any code updates released at Texas Pinball Festival for Stern?
Yeah, we got new Batman codes. I didn't play too much of the Batman there. There was an African American Catwoman. I haven't watched the show, but obviously that's a scene, and that's the first Catwoman scene that you play. I played a lot of Batman in Vegas, and I did really well. And then put me on the stream with Jack Danger, and I got under 10 million.
I saw.
By the way, Jack Danger is so tall, and I know he's tall, that it actually hurts to talk to him because you have to creak your neck up at such a weird angle. I'm too short. He's too tall. You have to be at least 5 meters away when you're talking to him. There's new Guardians codes. I believe 5 modes have been totally rewritten from the ground up, and I only played one game on it, and I noticed. I mean, I think every mode before was like you start the mode and you just hit shots. But one of the modes that I played, you have to hit every in lane, like the top in lanes next to the bumpers, and then the in lanes next to your flippers. So that was different. I'm not sure how different the other modes are, but that's a welcome change, I guess, than every mode being just hitting all the ramps and the orbits.
And look, the other thing that I took from the Stern of the Union live address was he talked about quality control. And, it was interesting because, he couldn't really say things like, our machines break or, there's problems with dimpling and all that kind of stuff. But he kind of did say, yeah, you know what, we do our best. We try to look after people, but, sometimes we don't get it right.
They're making an insane amount of games. So who knows what the percentage is of games breaking down, but because there's so many people that have the game, people are more, they're louder with their voice. Whereas, Spooky have only shipped, say, 100 TNAs. I mean, there might be 10 people with issues. I'm not trying to call out any names or anything, but that might be like 10%, which if there were 10% of Sterns that had issues. So I think it's always blown possibly a bit out of proportion with node boards, but who knows? I mean, only Stern have the numbers, and they're not going to release numbers of node board failures and things like that.
And so did you get to the Steve Ritchie seminar that he put on?
It's weird, because it was being live streamed, so I kind of left, because I think it was right after the Franchi stream, and I unfortunately, the Franchi talk, unfortunately was in a line to play Kingpin, and I was playing a game with Steve Bowden, and instead of lasting 5 minutes, it lasted 45 minutes, so
right.
I only caught the end of it, and then I left, and people watch the stream of what's happening in the other room, from the pinball room. You walk around and you can watch what's going on in the other room without being there. So I saw that he was pretending to be a priest, and people coming and confessing their sins, their pinball sins or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Were there any good ones?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I was just, I was just hoping someone would say, look, I want to confess that I desperately want you to make Black Knight 3000.
Oh, shit. That's the other bit of news. Yeah.
It's pretty much going to be it, isn't it?
Yes, I had a chat to someone who I can't name. I mean, we said this anyway, right? We were the first people to call this out, that it was going to be Black Knight 3000. Someone pretty much confirmed that to me. If Steve Ritchie is, I can't say too much, but it's Black Knight 3000. So 99.9% sure that it's Black Knight 3000. And this is the funny thing. Will he get a good artist now? Because he always gets the biggest licenses, right? Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Spider-Man. Right? And he hasn't had good art on any of them. It's Photoshop heads on all the playfields. So doing an original game, will he now have a Zombie Yeti or a Dirty Donny or a Chris Franchi doing art for him? That'd be quite exciting.
Oh, that'd be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The Black Knight and Black Knight 2000 were two of my favourite games.
Well, not only artwork stuff. I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
No, that's right.
It better not be it better not be like Star Trek or Spider-Man or something. Can you imagine that? If it was just, no, it couldn't be.
No, because the things that were very prevalent about the Black Knight was that it had an upper and lower playfield. So it will, at a very minimum, have to have an upper and lower playfield. It just has to.
A lower playfield? I mean, the normal playfield.
Normal playfield and upper. So you've got an upper and a lower. If you
it was so big though. I don't know. I played the Black Knight, and I don't know. I know people like the music and stuff, but you can't see half the playfield, and you just spend anyway.
No, not really, because it's not like there's a lot that's happening underneath that top playfield. So it's not like Game of Thrones with the top playfield where things are happening underneath it. Particularly the first Black Knight, you've literally got ramps that go up to the upper playfield, but there's a loop shot and locks and all that kind of stuff, but there's not really a lot that's happening underneath that playfield.
Kingpin and Circus Maximus, let's move on to that. Did you see any footage from where you were with Kingpin?
Yes, I did. I actually saw quite a lot of footage, and I'm keen to know if it's any good.
Okay. Kingpin plays like... it's like a better Fishtails. I think it only has like 6 main shots on the playfield. Like, you got the 2 ramps, the hotel, and then the 7 shots, I think. I played Houdini right before I played Kingpin, and it's like night and day. And we'll get to Houdini in a second, but I think anyone can play Kingpin and feel like they're a good pinball player. And it's weird because you see photos of it, you see videos of it, but unless you're in front of it, you don't realize how like steep those ramps are. Like they are like mountains. They're like the steep. They're like, you know, the ramps on the like the Bicycle Girl ramp on The Walking Dead Premium LA. They're like that steep, but because they don't have like a ramp flap that goes up and down, they're like super smooth. They have spinners on them, and the ball has like absolutely no issues getting up. It's like just like this amazing design. Anyway,
well, that's what we talked about with the other Capcom Airborne.
Yeah,
having those really, really steep ramps, and it's the flippers from Capcom games are the only flippers that are strong enough to be able to get up a ramp like that.
Yeah. It's weird. As I said, I've watched a whole bunch of videos, seen photos. Unless you're there in person, you don't realize how big they are because, you know, no one gets as low as kind of your eye. I don't know. So, yep, it's a nice flowy game.
Does it look good?
Yeah, the playfield looks good. I don't know about the grey. Like, I don't know if there's any like grey pinball machines. I think the artwork looks a little bit unfinished, but not that I care too much about that. There was only one there, so the lines were always pretty long. There's a lot of code bugs, and I think it needs possibly more code. Like Steve Bowden just like finished the game pretty much, and I think the issue is that you can stack modes. Right, so I was struggling. I wasn't like having a really good game when I was playing with Steve, and but I was relighting modes and then shooting into the hotel or Lex, or I can't remember what it's called, and starting modes. So like with a crap score, I had like five modes running, and you can kind of, if you like, can you imagine if Simpsons, like, it was super easy to light modes and you could just have them all running at the same time with like 2 shots each. By making the mode start harder, then, you know, people concentrate on finishing the mode more than stacking them. I don't know if they have plan on completing the code more than just kind of fixing the little bugs that are in there. But I guess we'll learn more about that soon. So there's a bug where basically you build up your power meter to kind of like do this sudden death mode, right? There's a bug where if you're playing a multiplayer game, if the first person activates that mode, right, what happens is your flippers die. They lose strength until there's like no power at all, pretty much. That'll then carry on to the second player and the third player, so they can't play their third ball at all.
Oh, really?
So for them, it comes like, and it was really funny because Steve was player 1 when we were playing, and me and Ron and someone else were player 2, 3, and 4, and we thought that he was playing for so long that he burnt out the coils, but it was just a software bug.
Right.
And there's another bug where I was playing with John Cosson, and I did something, and like the whole machine, like it kept on playing, but the screen was like in Linux. It was some weird bug. So I think they've got a long way to go building a prototype, I believe, with parts that already existed. I think it's a lot easier than probably building parts, proper parts from a factory and manufacturing this in bulk. It is going to be an unlimited run, I believe, except for the LE version, and there's no price on it yet. But I did talk to the guy in charge, and he said between $7,000 to $8,000 is the rumored price, US dollars. So I guess I would put it in the between the premium and the LE range at Stern.
Sure,
I think so. Okay.
So then, overall, you've now had a look at it and you've had a bit of a flip. Should we be excited about this?
It depends on what you value in a game. If you value a game that shoots really, really well, yes, get really excited about Kingpin. If you like insane code depth and like ignore this and get like a Houdini or an else, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
If you want something, it depends on what you're craving. And I'm not sure if they plan on working on the rules more, but it's a very basic game.
Well, that's what I read. I'm pretty sure I read in the This Week in Pinball sort of the release that came with Kingpin. So what they're doing is they're going to complete the original rules, so just sort of take all the bugs out, but they're actually going to write a new sort of extended rule set as well. But you'll actually have the choice, kind of like, Bride of Pinbot 2.0, where you can choose the original game or the enhanced game.
Okay.
So that'd be cool.
You sure that wasn't... Yeah, I can't remember reading it, that bit. I hope they're not talking about the sudden death mode or something where the flippers get weak. I'm not sure. But yeah, if that's the case, then yes, if they can get a good rule set on this playfield, then you've got a winner. Because I don't know what it is about those two ramps in the middle with spinners on them. I mean, not many games have spinners on ramps. I can only think of Rob Zombie, but that's on a return and not the entrance of the ramp.
Right.
And I can't remember what mode it is, but there's a mode where basically you have to get like a certain amount of switch hits, and that's on a lot of games. And what do you usually do? Usually you shoot an orbit spinner, or you shoot into the pops. And I was playing that with Steve Batten. He's like, shoot the ramps, man, shoot the ramps, fishtails. And you just go left ramp, right ramp, left ramp, right ramp. And it just feels good. It feels good to hit those ramps.
Okay.
That's Kingpin.
So let's move on to Houdini. I'm curious now that you got to play Houdini, and so I want to know your thoughts.
Okay, Houdini. Absolutely beautiful looking game. The way it's lit, the presentation of the play field and everything on top of the play field, the side art, the backglass, the LCD integration, 10 out of 10. It's beautiful. It sounds good. It was one of the only games that I could hear properly because there was 4 of them set up together, so they weren't kind of competing with different types of games. It is true, the shots are tight, and it does take. Yes, you can find them. But I think it's for someone who's new to pinball, or not new to pinball, but like when you step up to it, I think it's very not confronting. I don't know how to say it. It's a bit daunting because you brick a shot and then you trap up and then you brick it again and then you trap up and you brick it. Maybe it's me because I'm not a very good player, but I had a lot of average games on the machine, and then I had some slightly better than average games. I'm like, okay, I'm warming up to it now. And then on the last day, like I think it was the last night, I had a massive game. Well, compared to my other scores, I got over 500,000. I got 3 multi-balls. I finished the modes. And the game awards you well for hitting those hard shots. I mean, the harder the shot is, the more it's worth. So it's not like when you're in a mode, every shot is 10,000. If the mode makes you shoot the hardest shot in the game, then it's going to give you a higher reward for it. Because the game isn't a flow fest, I feel like the first mode should be more inviting, right? So I thought about it a bit, and basically there's a lot. Okay, dialed in, for example, how do you start a mode when you first start playing? You hit the guy, the QED guy, you hit the scoop, okay? Then when it gets a bit harder, you have to hit the guy a couple of times, then hit the scoop. So I talked to Josh Kugler, and he said it's a menu adjustment. So you can put the hit down to 1. But I feel like out of the box, when someone puts this in location, they're going to just leave it on default settings. The first mode should be either available straight away with the stage open, or to teach the person how to start a mode, just have it 1 hit. Because the shots are tight and it's not as easy as like a Steve Ritchie game where you've got these big wide open kind of ramps that you can backhand. I feel like if every person that plays the game should at least be able to play one mode with like 2 hits. And I think people would have a better appreciation for the game if they did that. Because people are, if someone has a good game on something, they're like, oh, wow, this game's really cool. If you don't have a good game, you feel like the game's punishing you or something. I don't know. What do you think, Marty?
Yeah, look, I don't know about this one. It's it kind of okay. I guess I'm trying to say something, for God's sake, but it kind of reminds me of Wizard of Oz, where beautiful looks great, but isn't really that intuitive and doesn't really give you that first obvious thing to do to then.
Okay, wait. I think this is a very talkative game, and I think it is intuitive, but it's still hard to do what it tells you to do. Like, you know, to start a mode, as I said, it's a number of shots. To start multi-ball, it's one of the tightest shots. As I said, I mean, after I had that good game, I really like this machine, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, it took me like 10 games to break through that barrier. If that was on site, I would have stopped after like the second game. So that's what I'm saying. I think to hook people in and to make them understand the game more, I think it needs to have, and I said a lot of other games do it. Medieval Madness, the first castle to bring the drawbridge down, how many shots does it take? I think 1, right? And then when you're up to the 5th guy, it's like, you know, 10 hits or something. If they progress it like that, I think more people will enjoy playing the game on site and in their home. Just a very, very small adjustment. Because they're not going to change the playfield, obviously. It has to be controlled by software.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
So, Jenny.
Yeah, it is. So, for you know, let's call it their first machine, what do you think?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not saying that it's not a good game. I'm saying that I want it to be popular, and that's the only way I feel like people will like it more is if, like, that's the only thing I can think of. The first mode is easier. It's not going to solve all the problems, but I think this is the type of game that is more suited to a home collection, so you can kind of play it over and over again and get better at it. It's good, man. It's for a first game, like they knocked it out of the park. It is like in almost every department. Yeah, as I say, it looks good. It sounds good. They had 5 of them there. It was impressive that 5 of them were there, and they've shipped 100 units, which is quite amazing. And their next game, this is another bit of information that I got off somebody that I can't name. Don't go on a witch hunt. It's not a American pinball employee. But yes, Oktoberfest is next, and it will contain a lot of German boobies.
I can't wait to see how this one goes down.
And sausage jokes. Okay?
Oh, well.
So bring it on.
That's all I could hope for.
That's all that anyone could hope for in an Oktoberfest pinball machine. So, yeah, I mean, they still haven't sorted out we talked to them about why don't we have one in Australia yet, and they just redesigned the power supply so it can handle multiple voltages, blah, blah, blah. It'll happen. There'll be ones in Australia, and people will order them, and I think this pinball machine will do very well.
Awesome. All right, can we talk about the big one? Yeah.
Yes.
So Spooky Pinball, we finally, well, you in particular, got to see the reveal of Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle.
Yeah, so it was wheeled out onto the floor like straight away. So like while everything was setting up, it was there, and you could see the cabinet, you could see the side art, you can see the front of the pinball machine. But basically, there was a bunch of like non-see-through packing material, kind of like stuck to the inside of the glass. You couldn't even remove it, and then they turned the machine on, so you can kind of see all the light underneath. And it was such a tease because it was right there, and it's just like, time is limited. Show us the game, and everyone was like, "Show us the game! Show us the game!" No, he didn't show the game until the planned seminar, and still unsure why that couldn't have been bumped up to Friday, especially since there was only 2 machines there. And but I think everyone got a game with it and got their kind of impressions of the game anyway. But it was painful to see the game there. A little side note before we get into the game: the butter cabinet looks absolutely insane. Like, possibly the best looking art package ever, right? When you see it in, like, okay, maybe not the best art. Like, you could say, oh, this art is better and this art is better by Zombie Yeti and stuff. But that art is a decal, okay? This art is on, like, direct printed to the wood, and it's got, like, clear coat over it. And it just looks premium. It looks shiny. You put them side by side, the other one still looks amazing. Like, don't feel like you need to go spend an extra $1,000. I think that's how much it costs. But it looks, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I think they said that when they print a decal, they print it on white paper. When they print this, they paint the wood like it's spray painted or something black, and then they direct print on it. And because it's printed on black, the colors are more like, it's like they're more like vibrant, or
more contrast,
saturated.
Yep.
Yeah, they just look, and then it's got the shine over it because of the clear coat. It's one of those things you have to see in person, and if you ever see an Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle in person and it's got the butter cabinet, you'll be blown away. You would
what's
not.
It called? Butter cabinet.
Yeah, they call it butter because it's shiny and like it looks oily like butter. Like it has like a butter layer over it. Okay. So it's an extra $1,000 if you want one of them, and they make them together because of the process. So you actually get your order bumped up because they can't just make one. They have to make like 10 together.
Right. Okay.
So that's the butter cabinet. Before they during their seminar, before they revealed it, we got the other big news of like the new highs in the industry, that our good friend Bowen Kieran's, who just 2 weeks ago, or last week,
said, denied something.
Denied that he would I asked him afterwards and he said, well, go and listen back to it. I just chose my words very carefully. He said he wouldn't be very good at it. He doesn't seem to be very good at it. So he is the new hire for Stern, which is huge news because everyone knows that Bowen Kieran is an amazing player, and he kind of dissects rule sets, and who better to kind of be leading the code development at Spooky Pinball. And Bowen also does consulting for game shows. It's his job to kind of work at the odds and balance game shows. So, couple that with being one of the best players, it's a really good mix, I think, for someone to be designing code. And I think it's going to be one of those things people are going to say, well, why didn't this happen sooner? It's exciting. He's already talking to Scott about, like certain TNA things, like TNA somehow needs to be improved. It's cool.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's a great thing. And just probably to your question, people ask why it didn't happen soon enough. Well, but Spooky had to make it on their own feet before they can get big enough to then, to be able to afford somebody like Bowen, I'd imagine. I'm
pretty sure he's going to get paid $1 million a year. That's what the rumor was. So quickly talking about TNA before we go to, since it is still on Spooky, before we go to Alice Cooper, they demoed out their co-op mode.
Yes.
And I got given the co-op mode like right before I left. I didn't have anyone to play with, but I said, I'll play it at TPF, Scott, because there's no point in playing it one day before by myself. That's just like putting it on 6 balls.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing experience playing co-op because it's one of the first times that you're really enjoying playing with it with friends and not wanting them to drag. You're cheering them on, and especially if you can hook up with a really good player like Steve Bowden or something.
So how does it work?
This is the funny thing. At the moment, it's not like you press start and it'll say, hey, you want to play this way or that way. You hold in the start button like for, say, like a second or 2 seconds. It's probably about 2 seconds. And it'll start the game, and then it'll start doing the intro, and then it'll say co-op mode enabled.
Right.
Now, if you plunge the ball, it'll then switch back to normal play because you've only done, you can't do co-op mode with one player.
Sure.
So then you press the start button as many times as you want to add how many players you want. Basically, you get 3 balls each. There's no extra balls. The score is mirrored across all digit displays. The only thing that is different is that when you blow up a reactor, you get a 1 added to your score, and no one else does. So you can look at the score and it'll be all the same, but you will know who has blown up reactors and who hasn't. And I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that someone is a better player than another, because someone can set up reactors and then drain and set up multi-ball for someone else. But it's I guess it's a good way to keep tabs of how people are progressing. There was another change as well. I had a funny conversation with Scott about kind of Lord of the Rings, and I said it's really cool in Lord of the Rings how it's double jackpot 1, double jackpot 2, triple jackpot 3. You know exactly how much the jackpot is progressing the score, or the jackpot is progressing the mode, because it's all in the jackpot call out. Whereas with Total Nuclear Annihilation, if you have 4 balls out, it's a 4x jackpot, but it still just says jackpot, double jackpot, triple jackpot. So I said it'd be cool if you could like change the call outs for depending on the multiplier. And he's like, oh, yeah, kind of, it's kind of a good idea. And then I went to play the game, and boom, it's in there. And so I'm not sure if it's going to survive because it's just beta code.
Was it already in there, or did he just change it on the fly?
No, he put it in there because of my suggestion.
Man, look at you.
And so I joked around and I said, I expect to see my name on the credits. And he was like, no, there's enough people there already. So.
We need to get head-to-head flipper codes.
No way. That's Jack Danger level. So we were very far from that.
Yeah.
It's good, man. I mean, it was so cool hanging out with Spooky. I know this sounds super lame, but they really do feel like a family. I know they are a family, right? But like Scott, it's like Scott's like the cousin, and do you know what I mean? Like they treat each other like they've known each other their entire life. Like they really are. Like, and then like you add Bowen to it, and they're all just hanging out, and I don't know. It's like they all. Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it, but it's not like it doesn't feel like a corporate environment. It feels like they all really like each other and they all hang out with each other.
Okay, so let's go back to Alice Cooper. Come on.
Okay,
I'm dying
Alice
to know.
Cooper.
So just for me, so I saw when it was revealed.
I feel sorry for you for the reveal.
Well,
like that stream was like really, yeah. It's weird because go for it.
Well, I was just going to say, I saw the pictures that you put up, and I looked at the pictures and I kind of went, okay, that's not as sort of feature rich as I thought it would be. I don't know. I just had this sort of, I don't know, it was a bit disappointing.
Which pictures, like the 3D pictures? Because the first picture they showed was like the top, like they literally set up a camera. And it's the absolute worst game to show from a top-down view because it's a very 3D game.
That's right. So the pictures, and it was the pictures that you sent through. There was, I think, it was about 4 or 5 of them. And and I just went, that it just sort of didn't meet my expectations. However,
really, okay,
no, wait, hear me out.
Okay,
because that was just from your lame-ass pictures. Because I then watched, and it's not even like a lot of people had video footage from the side, but it wasn't until I saw the straight down the middle, their video footage.
He went back up to his hotel room to upload that. Yep. What a professional.
Well, he did, and that angle, and it goes for about 13 minutes. As soon as I saw that video, I went, right, I now absolutely get this. I love the art. I love the layout. It looks great. But it was just, as I saw those pictures at first, I kind of just went, and they're not quite loving it. So don't go by pictures, everybody. Look at the videos. Or, Ryan, tell us what it looks like in person.
Yeah, I mean, that was the weird thing is that like they kind of they dress up and they hyped it up, and then when they did the reveal, it was Charlie's kind of talked and he even posted on Facebook that he's kind of like nervous and he doesn't like public speaking and he's not a sales guy, so the reveal for me was fine because it was like he just kind of stopped and he's just like, well, let's just like stop the seminar now and we'll just put it back on the show and you can play it and you can like judge it based on that. Don't let me sit here for half an hour talking about the pinball machine when you can't see it, which was good. But then I thought everyone else that's not in this room is not going to get that experience, and it would have been good, I guess, to have maybe some pre-filmed promo video. They kind of had an Alice Cooper one, but it was kind of just you couldn't really hear it properly. Like the sound was only coming through like the computer and not the main speakers. Anyway, so I mean, I guess a bit of a fumble on the reveal, but as I said, I don't care about that. I'm just thinking about you at home watching it from your computer. If you put this machine side by side with like a Rob Zombie and America's Most Haunted, for me, I don't feel like they look like they're from the same company because it is a step up, just in the looks because it matches the TNA cabinet. Obviously, it's the normal size of a pinball machine because it's deeper, and TNA's a lot more shallow because it doesn't have deeper,
ramps or anything.
Ramps, yeah. It's got the same sound system as TNA. It's got full RGB LEDs. It's running P-Rock, and because of these things which weren't planned, they initially said the price was $6,250, but now the price is $6,500. So a little bit of a jump, but it does look like a premium kind of machine, and it's limited to only 500 units. What else can I say? There's no LE, but obviously there's options. The speaker grill that you saw on there is changing. It's not going to be the one that is going to be on the machine. I think it might be an option. I can't remember, but they're going to change it to an Alice Cooper spider web kind of thing. They put the game on one ball games to give everyone a fair go, and it's not the kind of game that lends itself to one ball games because, like Houdini. I mean, this is very early code, right? This is alpha code. But like Houdini, this game is actually quite hard. And I'll explain why. To start a mode, you have to hit the left orbit twice and the right orbit twice. Not in that order. So you can hit left orbit, right, right, sure. Or right, left. Just those two shots 2 times. And then you're battling at the monster. And when you shoot those shots, you can collect things to battle the monster. We all read the Ben Heck interview on This Week in Pinball about that. The left orbit is easy. The right orbit, maybe it was just me, but I saw other people as well. It's really hard, man. It's a very tight shot. I don't know. I'm not good with shots on my left flipper. I can never hit right orbits, but because of that, like my first 5 games, I didn't start a monster, and I didn't see hardly anyone start monsters. Maybe if it was on 3 ball, then you would do that on the 2nd ball or 3rd ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not, like the American Pinball thing is a solution to make it like you hit one shot and you're battling a monster straight away just for the first monster, just to give you a taste, and then it's down to normal play. Because the last thing you want is people playing the game and not progressing at all 5 times in a row.
Well, I mean, that's what the feedback is going to get now, right? So I'm sure everybody would have said, well, could it do this? Could it do that? Right? So.
Okay, you got Bowen working there. So right. Like and he spent like a half an hour on our show talking about Simpsons Pinball Party and how it's not good for new players. So if anyone's going to agree with me on that sentiment, I mean, as I said, it's very early code. It's going to be Bowen. So I don't have any worry at all that the code will be inviting to new players and challenging for the best tournament players.
So then talk about the layout. How does I know it's got an upper play field. So talk about the layout and how that felt.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I learned the rules of what I need to do to start a monster, I wasn't really going for anything but starting a monster. I know to start multi-ball, you have to kind of shoot up the ramp and then shoot up the upper playfield and hit the drop target. There's not enough code in there, I think, to fully enjoy all of the playfield yet. So it's just something that we're going to have to watch on like a dead flip stream. I mean, I know how it shoots, and the layout is fine, but the software has to lend itself to the layout to comment on it, right?
Yeah,
it's not like I know a fear where you go, every shot's cool and it's flowy. I guess a bit more stop and start because I think you got like 5 entrances to the upper playfield or something insane like that. I'm not sure if that's ever done before. I couldn't hear anything. Like they put TNA next to it. It was kind of like TNA, Alice Cooper, TNA, Alice Cooper, TNA, right? So it was kind of wedged in between. And those 3 TNAs, or was it 2? I can't remember. Totally overpowered Alice Cooper. Even though they had the same sound system, everyone was listening to TNA while they were playing Alice Cooper.
It's all I could hear on the stream.
Yeah. Chugga, 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 beep.
Beep.
What else do we have? I mean, the sound system is the same as TNA, and I mean, I could feel the sound when you hit the spinner. Like the whole machine shakes. Like I said, obviously the spinner sound is very bassy.
Yeah.
The display is absolutely amazing. The LCD screen is crisp. I mean, I guess we saw the LCD screen on TNA, but TNA is blurry on purpose because it's meant to be like a 80s VCR tracking thing. I guess I would say it's the closest to Aerosmith in its style, where it's kind of like that comic book.
Yes.
But it makes Aerosmith's kind of animations look very basic, right? Like someone in high school is doing that, and someone that's working professionally. That's the best I can say. It looks amazing. It looks like high def. I don't know. It just looks good. Yeah, too early to judge the machine, but I mean, people are ordering. One of our friends, I'm not sure if he's messaged you, has ordered.
Lucas.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
I don't want to
absolutely.
his name just in case it was just a message to me. Because he said, let me know how it is because I'm really interested in ordering it. I love Alice Cooper. I totally forgot. And then before I could play more than one game, he's like, you're too slow. I've already ordered it.
He was well. He'd also said to me, being a massive fan of Alice Cooper, and he was saying, Alice Cooper was how he really got into loving music. He was pretty much predisposed, so it would have had to have been really crap. So I think he was kind of he just saw one picture and yep, I'm in. That was it. That's how much he just wanted it to be really good. So, and the good news is, Lucas, you'll get this.
Oh, shots fired. Yeah, it's as I said. I think everyone was blown away by the art package. The castle looks amazing. I think it shoots fine. It shoots a lot different than. There's no game I can compare it to how it shoots.
Right.
Because it is very unique. But I don't want to pass any judgment on it. I mean, that's all I can say. I'm not going to say this is a winner or this is a loser because the code is very early. I couldn't hear what I was doing. The software's not there yet. It's going to be what I look forward to watching the dead flip video and then trying to kind of overlay my experience on the newer software, and they say, okay, that makes sense now.
So do you reckon they'll sell 500?
100%.
There you go.
I do believe, and it's almost. I felt that as soon as I saw the. This sounds so stupid. As soon as I saw the butter cabinet, without seeing the playfield, I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like I would. If I had that in my house, I would have to rearrange my whole room so that everyone could see the side of the cabinet.
Right. Okay.
I'm fucking serious. Like, it is like the best looking pinball machine I've ever seen because of the shininess. Like, I don't know, like shininess makes things look good, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's just really interesting coming from you because you've been on record saying you don't really care that much about art and all that kind of stuff, but for you to be blown away
Because
by
the art's not shiny. I've never seen shiny art before. I've seen pictures of the rad cows and stuff like that, but I think this artwork lends itself. Like, I saw the butter cabinet for the TNA there, and yes, it looks better than a normal cabinet, but because of the colors they use in Alice Cooper, it really pops. It pops and it's shiny. Pop shine together. I don't know.
piney, shopping.
Piney, yes. And as I said, everyone that's listening to this that hasn't seen it will be like, he's exaggerating. He's exaggerating. Every person that was there that saw it will agree with me.
Okay, so a lot of people aren't going to be able to see it, right? And you're saying it's $1,000 extra. Would you say? And I know this is hard, and people shouldn't necessarily, make a decision just based on Ryan's opinion, because I certainly don't ever. But if someone was going to buy, spend the extra $1,000 for the butter cabinet, would you say do it?
It depends on two things, I guess. It depends on how long you plan to keep the game for. There's a lot of people that just buy everything new and they play it for a little bit and they pass it on. I guess there's no point in getting the butter cabinet for that. There's people like me that have all their pins in a line with the head boxes almost touching. And I guess that would almost be a waste of money, right? If you have your pinball machine set up in a way where you can see the side cabinet, because the cool thing is each side is different and each headbox side is different, which some pinball machine manufacturers are doing now, some of them aren't. I think that's cool. It looks good from both sides in a different way. So that's my advice. If you really love Alice Cooper and you're going to see the side of this thing and you plan on having the machine for a while, go for it. That's your limited edition machine.
Okay.
The one that looks better than all the rest.
There you go. All right.
Okay, so that's Alice Cooper. So we will be waiting for the dead flip stream, and it will happen. And hopefully the code will have progressed a little bit from there. And because some of the monsters that I was battling, they didn't even have animation, so it kind of just had a black screen with text saying
Coming soon.
Coming soon. But this is what you need to do. This is
right.
the
Okay.
instructions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, give it time.
Jesse Jack. They were there. Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't get to play or see much of. I didn't see the seminar. I saw Eric setting up the machines when I went in early, and the first thing he said was, "Show me your tricep progress." And I got a long way to go. And the next thing he said was, "You want to really be impressed?" And he showed me his calves. I didn't even ask for this. He just showed me them. He has the most insane. I don't even. Okay, should I be saying this? Because this is going to become like a thing that people ask me about now. Because about 10 people ask me about my triceps. He has the most insane calves I've ever seen. Like, this guy must work out like a beast, like extreme mode. Like, his muscle looks like it's like an implant or something, but it's not, because then he unflexes and it's back to normal. Anyway, I just wanted to get that story in. I only played one game on Pirates, and I had to turn off the machine because right when the fun started going into multi-ball. It is a lot better than when we played it. I mean, we know that already from the JJP streams they've been doing, but when you play in person, it's an amazing game. It shoots well. The code's coming together really well. After that one game that got ended early, I didn't play it again because there was actually probably, I would say, the most consistent line on those machines versus any other machine.
Really?
I mean, maybe Kingpin. I mean, there's always a line at Kingpin. I mean, sometimes it was super long. Sometimes it was only a couple deep because they only had one. But I think there was either 2 or 3 pirates there, but there was always at least, I think, like 5 or 6 people on each of those machines waiting.
No way.
And I didn't want to kind of waste time since we have one at Wayne's that I could play at any time. But even Alice Cooper died down a little bit at the end when people were kind of leaving and stuff because, it was only on one ball. But yeah, I mean, they set up the machines a little bit more floaty than we had, and then it's kind of shown on the stream. And even the dialed in, we played one game of dialed in, and I did absolutely horribly. And it was a floating machine. And I feel like almost like Jersey Jack themselves don't know how good dialed in is when it's set up well.
It's
like
jacked up, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like who from dialed in jacks up their machine and plays it like everyone, like all the tournament players are playing it. I don't know. It's like they don't even know how good their game is. I didn't play any of the remakes. I mean, they were there, but who cares?
Did you get to play Multimorphic?
Before that, I want to talk about Zbig Lebowski.
Oh,
because
was it there?
There was one there. There was one there, but not represented by anyone. It was just there. Someone bought it. And it was in the far left corner, like literally the last machine in the corner. And there was always a line to play that as well. And, the line was so, it took half an hour to play the game. And I was just like, I don't even want to line up, but, we'll do it. It's a really fun game, man. Like, I forgot how fun it is.
It's really good.
It's making me laugh. Any game that can make me laugh, it just increases the enjoyment. And I really hope they get their shit together and make that game.
I think they will,
for God's sake. Yes, just. I don't know.
Multimorphic.
What else? Multimorphic.
You got to see Cosmic Kart Racing?
I did. I played it very early on, and I played the Heads Up game as well a couple of times. I felt like I was either playing someone else's game, like around. I think I did. I was about to say, because I think when you start the game properly, it's like shoot the green shot to accelerate your kart. And when I played it, there was only one shot lit, and I couldn't hit it for about 2 minutes, and it was so painful. But then I saw someone else play it, and all the shots were green to start off with, and then it starts kind of eliminating the shots.
Right.
So I think there's like 2 rounds, and I think someone walked away from the machine, and I thought I was playing a new game. It's cool, but you're sport for choice at TPF. You got so many freaking games there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I certainly like all the LED lighting it's got on it.
100%, and they got magnets all over it, like where the ramps are, so they can accelerate the ball, they can stop and stage the ball, they can pass it from one to the other. They can do a lot of stuff with that layout, and that's the cool thing with Multimorphic is that's a Cosmic Kart kit, but that can become 2 or 3 other games very easily. But as far as the actual gameplay goes, from what I could see, it was just hit as many green shots as you can to accelerate your vehicle. It's like a hovercraft kind of thing, and the faster you hit the shots, obviously the faster you're going to complete your lap, and there's lap records. So I don't know, I wasn't good enough to at one point my kart was just dead, and it was just like it was at 0 kilometers per hour, and it's depressing because I couldn't hit the shot. I don't know. What's the deal with that? Does everyone get that game for free? That were like the early pre-order people? Is that right?
No, I do not know. I know you can obviously buy it separately.
Yeah, sure. I think it's $2,500 or I should look it up, but it's something like that. But I remember, I think Michael Fisher, the guy that went to his house and played it, I'm pretty sure he said he's waiting for it, and he got it as part of like a deal. So you'll probably get to play that in a couple of months if he's, have you sent him a nice message and said thank you for coming over so we can get invited again?
Well, we can both do that. We'll send him a bunch of flowers or something. Now,
what else?
So speaking of games that, a bit of a surprise for me, you got to play Wizard Blocks.
Oh, yes. Wizard Blocks.
So what is Wizard Blocks? What people that don't know, what is Wizard Blocks?
So Williams, back in 1999 or whatever they decided it, said that pinball's in the shitter and it's going to fail unless we do something different. So they designed Pinball 2000. You can watch Tilt, the Battle to Save Pinball, which is an amazing documentary which documents this. I can't recommend it more.
It's great.
I absolutely love it. It is great. It is directed so well, and it just gives you a real insight into kind of how things were at the time. And what they did is they designed the Pinball 2000 system, which the first game was Revenge from Mars, and the second was Star Wars Episode 1. And because of the issues they had, they decided, even though it was financially successful, they decided to pull the plug. And as we know with pinball companies, things are always in development, kind of like Big Bang Bar and Kingpin were with Capcom before they pulled the plug. So the other two games were Wizard Blocks was meant to be the third game, and it was an original game by Pat Lawler. And that was the game that was meant to kind of like really – it was meant to be the good one, right? Because Revenge from Mars had to be the one that showed off the technology to get people hooked.
Yep.
Star Wars is the one where they're constrained by licenses and they had to be shut off and NDAs and all that kind of stuff. So strike both of those off the list. Wizard Blocks is meant to be the original theme, so they can do whatever they want. Pat Lawler, great designer, and he didn't get very far. And he's been on record saying that no one should try and resurrect this project because there wasn't enough there to build a full pinball machine. But someone has. I mean, it's not completely finished yet, but you can shoot it. You can get into multi-ball. You can get jackpots. It was kind of hacked together, like the ramps weren't perfect and this and that. But it was amazing to. I mean, it was Ron Hallett, Steve, and then I played a game after. There's a repeatable loop shot. There's shots under the ramp. It's a cool little game. It's definitely shoots better than. I mean, I guess Revenge from Mars kind of shoots pretty well. I just don't like the software. I don't know. It was cool. It was very surreal. I didn't even know it was going to be there. And when it was there, I was just like, holy shit, like this is a Wizard Blocks and it works. Like the software and everything.
Well, people had said as well, and maybe it's just because of the crisscrosses on the playfield, that some of the design elements from Wizard Blocks made its way into Dialed In. Could you see that? Is that true?
Well, I mean, 100% those lightning crisscross, the array of inserts leading up to your flippers. I didn't see that getting activated by anyone, but I guess I didn't spend more than 10 minutes watching and playing the game.
Sure.
I mean, the coolest thing, I guess, is the repeatable loop shot, kind of like what we've got on Pirates of the Caribbean. That repeatable upper inner loop.
Yes.
There is that, but on the other side. So there's a flipper, kind of, I guess, like a warp ramp.
Sure.
But I don't think it's going up a ramp. It's just kind of looping around.
It's like high speed.
Yeah. And I believe that has never been on a Pat Lawler game.
Okay.
So my question to the people I was playing with is, do you think that Pat Lawler had all these ideas that never got to come to fruition, and he never did them at Stern? I don't know why. Maybe he wasn't allowed to, but we've seen one on Dialed In at JGP. Will his next pinball machine have that same kind of shot? I know it's a totally different cabinet size and platform, but it'd be cool to have a Pat Lawler game that has like flow, but also a repeatable loop shot flow. I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
Okay. Well, there you go.
See.
So that was an interesting bit of history to see there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the guy has plans to put into production or stuff like that. But I mean, the Pinball 2000 thing is kind of like what Alien planned to do, where you have swappable playfields, so you can just take a playfield out and put it in. So, I think there'd be a lot of people that like a Wizard Blocks playfield they could swap in.
So speaking of, was Alien there as well?
No, No, there weren't any aliens actually.
At all?
No, it's quite funny. Like there were 7 TNAs. Like there was a couple at Spooky Brain, but like everyone bought theirs, and there were 5 Houdinis, and there were so many Spider-Mans, but there was no there was no Lord of the Rings. There was no Tron. There was there was a lot of games that are popular. I'm not sure if Aliens is one of those ones, but yeah, there's a lot of repeated games, and there was 0 aliens.
Okay, well there you go.
So I didn't get it. I mean, who the fuck would bring their alien to a machine to a show to get beat up on when they can't get spare parts?
Coin taker.
Yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, I mean they bought a Houdini.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Good point.
So, anything else? Anything else you've missed on your list?
Yes, I would like to talk about what I did besides playing all the new manufacturers games. Yes. So, I watched a bit of the tournament, and it was won by a guy called Robert Byers, and he is he's quite an animated person. And me, Ron, and Dr. John were kind of like watching the finals, but we also said, let's have a game of Congo like while we do that, and just I was playing Congo, and I just heard this screaming, and I looked over, and this guy's on Paragon, right, Robert Byers. And he just like screams like he just like won the championship, which he hadn't, but he was just destroying Paragon, right? And he turned to the camera and he did, like, how do I describe this without showing you a picture of something? You know when you grab your 2 hands and you you slap them on your crotch?
Sure. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that means something to me. And I was like, well, did he just do that to the camera? So I went up to him after the show. Congratulations on winning. I said, what were you doing? Like, did you stop your game, look at the camera, and do that for all the stream views? Like, oh, yeah, I'm really into wrestling, and that's what Triple H does before he, like, gives someone the smackdown or something. Like, okay, well, in Australia, that means suck my dick, okay? He's like, oh, what? Really?
Yep.
And I'm like, doesn't that mean that the same thing as well? Like, oh, my gosh. Anyway, but there was 160 players in the tournament, and he won. He won over Carl D'Angelo, and I can't remember who else was in the final. Trent Augustine and one other guy. I didn't participate in the tournaments at all, but by everyone's reports, it was very well done. I met a lot of people, a lot of our fans, Marty. Everyone was asking where you were. Did you get the email from the Canadians?
I did.
Yeah. I hope that's part of the mailbag. I'm absolutely horrible with names, as I've mentioned a couple of times. So I remember people's faces, but I don't remember many names. But a lot of good feedback. I met Ron Hallett from the Slam Tilt podcast, and I spent a majority of my time playing games with Ron and Dr. John from Queensland, and we just went around and we just played three-player games, and we mainly concentrated on the games that I'd never played before, and John's never played before. Ron's pretty much played everything.
Sure.
I hardly remember any of them because I enjoyed them, but a lot of them blend into each other. But Marty, there is one game, right, that was sitting at Ryan Combat Pinball booth, and Ron said, hey, you have to play this game, Ryan, it's pretty cool. And it was a very nice game in a very nice condition, and Ron proceeded to explain the rules to me of this game in 20 seconds, and Ryan was there and he confirmed the rules, like, yep, that's how you play the game. I said, like, what else do you do? He's like, that's it. I'm like, wow, that seems like a pretty cool rule set, and you just explained it in 20 minutes. Now I want to see if you can guess what the game is without me saying what it is.
Okay.
And I hope Ron hasn't messaged you or something.
No, I know nothing about this.
Okay. It's a Gottlieb game, believe it or not, right? And by the way, I really like this game, and I would add this to my collection because I had that much fun playing it, okay? It's a Gottlieb game. What you have to do is you have to hit a bunch of targets on the right-hand side, get it in a saucer on the left-hand side, and it starts multi-ball. That's pretty much the game. But what you want to do is you want to get your multi-ball multiplier up. And to do that, you have to hit the spinner. Every time the spinner spins, it increases the multi-ball multiplier, goes 2, 3, 5, then back to 2. So you have to get it on the right spin, right? So it's not random. It's going up sequentially, but then it resets.
Yeah.
So... yeah? Do you know this game so far or not?
No, not yet.
Okay. If you're in multi-ball and everything is 5x, you hit the spinner and it goes nuts. If the ball hits the left in lane, sorry, the right in lane, and then you hit the spinner, it's 10x. So it's 10x times 5 times 1,000. So it's 50,000 a spin, right? And it just makes the absolute most amazing sound.
Is this?
It's like jackpot, jackpot, jackpot.
Is this Alien Star?
Yeah, bitch.
Oh yeah, okay, so sound is really important for me in a game, particularly of Gottlieb's of that era. I love the sound that comes through that game, but I love the layout. It's a great game.
It's a great game, and it was so simple. And like, I mean, every other game was explained to me, but it wasn't fun, right? I mean, some of them were, but like this game just totally stood out to be like just trying to do just one thing and doing it well. And then how many times can you rip the spinner? And like every spin is pretty much a jackpot. And basically, I think Ron said that like, you know, it'll give you a couple of seconds after the last spin for that kind of like the 10x or whatever it was to expire, so you can kind of like keep on hitting it. I don't know. And there's no ramps to feed that inner lane, but you know, if it's an old game, you can shats the lane, and that's what Ron was doing. And I managed to do it, and it was fun, man. If I don't have any room, so no one plays with me in Alien Star, but it is definitely on the radar.
And so, where did you say that was at the Comet Pinball stand? Did you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there was a couple of them there, but
cool.
Yeah, Ryan.
So you got to meet Ryan Wenger. Hi, Ryan.
Yeah?
Yeah, the
Hello,
Ryans
Ryan.
got to meet each other.
We had a good chat about LEDs and everything, and
yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, we like him. CometPinball.com.
CometPinball.com, audio LEDs.
Yes.
He did a really good job as well. You know what I noticed on a lot of games? A lot of people have been putting the star post lights under their slingshots star posts, and it just makes the old games look amazing because it's almost like a spotlight but without being intrusive.
Right.
And Ryan sells those, I sell those, a lot of people sell them. Give them a go. They're not that expensive, and they're not intrusive, and it's literally just undoing your star post, putting it underneath, and then running some wires and hooking up to a GI, like just soldering them into your GI, and that's it. So super easy to install.
There you go.
I played Joust for the first time, I believe. I think
Yeah.
there was one at the Chicago Pinball Festival Expo, and it wasn't working or something. But so this one was in absolutely amazing condition, and I think I played 2 or 3 times, and I had a blast, but I got absolutely smashed. Like, people were telling me the rules, but I would think I was like having winning, and they look at my score, and I was like 100,000. The person was on like 2 million or something like that. So that's a fun game. If someone's going to remake a game, remake that. Jesus, that's a fun game.
Yeah, I haven't. I played Joust when it came out many years ago, and the last time I had an opportunity to play it, well, besides Arcade Expo, 2 years ago when I was there at Banning, it was there, but it was not working. So I was really disappointed I didn't get to play it. Because you can actually play a single player, and
yeah, you can. Yeah. I mean, Ron said like you play this game now because you will never play a working version. Like they're always broken. But yeah, this one was like restored and like clear coded, and like the guy that I can't remember what booth was in, but he had like an amazing centaur next to it as well. It was cool.
So for those people that don't know, so Joust is a pinball machine by Williams, and it's head to head. So you play against somebody on either end. It's very cool, and there's multi-ball as well. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, after the game finishes, you get like a multiple frenzy where basically it's kind of like an end mode where you get 4 balls coming out, 2 to your side, 2 to the other side, and you've got, I think, 30 seconds to rack up. It's kind of like your bonus rounds. Rack up as many points as you can, and before the flippers get killed and it drains. This is not pinball related, but this was there. Have you seen the Atari Pong machine?
Yes.
A couple of years ago, on Kickstarter, there's like a $600 Pong machine. It was like really cheap. It was under $1,000, and I almost considered it. I was just like, it was like this cool retro physical thing where like magnets would move it around, and it'd be like the original dial from Pong. You've seen it, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I do, and I saw video. In fact, Charles Thomas, I think, was showing me the video of the Pong machine there.
Yeah. So they're now $3,000 because, as everyone does with Kickstarter, they totally underestimate the cost of how much something something is to make. And I had a lot of fun playing that. I'm not sure if it's $3,000 worth for me, but it is cool, man. I'm not sure how long it would be cool for as well, but I played like 3 or 4 games, and it's like laugh out loud fun. I like 2 people playing at the same time. Lou Frigno was there. I was excited about that until I realized he was there because he was charging $40 to take a photo with him, and I was like, no. I'll pay $20.
I did see a picture of him.
But
he played the Hulk limited edition of the Avengers. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, he had 2 original Hulks next to him, and I believe his payment possibly for coming was that he gets the restored one.
Right.
And the restored one was like mint. Like, it was like a brand new play field, clear coated. It was absolutely like a 10 out of 10 restore on that. So, what else can I tell you? I know I'm doing 90% of the talking, but I did fly all the way over to the US.
It's worth it.
Okay. Me and Ron played split dick flipper pinball. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so it was just like really late at night. I can't remember why we were doing it, but it was me, John, Ron, and Steve Bowden, and we couldn't be bothered playing a full player game of Batman because it was gonna take too long. It's a long playing game. So like should we play flipper one handed? And I can't remember who said like let's play split dick flipper. So I stood on one side. Rod stood on the other side, and you have to hit the flipper with your crotch. I was laughing.
Okay.
There's a video out there. I think John Cosson has it. There's a video out there. I was post-passing to Ron, and then he hit. Okay. Anyway, I found it absolutely hilarious, and I never thought of doing it because all my pins are close together. But maybe a stream like a stream suggestion, Marty.
Yeah. Okay.
To get more viewers. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? Probably not going to happen.
Okay. I had to add it in there. Okay, I wrote some notes down. I'm just going through them. Dennis Nordman of Deep Root fame. I had a little chat to him. I had to let him know that Demo Man is an amazing machine, and he laughed about it. And I said, Ron has one as well, and John Cosson has one as well. So we were all Demo Man fanboys. He was there representing, I guess, his company. Is it Valley Dynamo? No. Valley Dynamo are the ones that are making it. He's Pitch and Bat.
Sure.
And I played that for the first time, and I played against Ron and got absolutely destroyed. It was like 25-2. It's fun. It's a fun thing. It's very expensive. They had old Pitch and Bats there as well that were for sale for $1,000 or $2,000 or something. So, but yeah. That was pretty cool. I got him to sign my T-shirt. I had the T-shirt. Is anyone up for 5 days of deep rooting?
He signed that.
He signed it. Barry Hauser signed it. David Thiel signed it. Everyone there that was representing Deep Root in any way signed it, except for Robert Mueller, like Mr. Deep Root. Apparently he was there, but I didn't see him. TPF is so big, and so it's like a maze to kind of get through. Like it's not in like rows. They make people walk around in kind of like a maze kind of fashion. So it's an incomplete T-shirt. It's got 3 signatures on there. I wanted 4, but it's my limited edition Deep Root shirt. And they were all good sports, and they were laughing about it. And I think David Thiel like actually took a photo of it. Every signature that I got, he was the first one to sign it. Then Dennis signed it, took another. He wanted to add it to his collection. So it was good to meet all of them. I met Scott from Pin Stadiums. Yes. He had his little booth set up, and he's a really nice guy. And man, he was. I don't know how his voice wasn't lost. He was talking to customers the entire time.
And so I got an email from him today because he's got like the new universal adapters that you can have. So he was sending me an email, and he told me that he actually lost his voice halfway through Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know how he got it back because he was talking to me on like today, Sunday afternoon, and yeah, I mean all of the machines were set up there in the Pin Stadium booth. It's funny because like pinball machines with a pin sound board are like, seem to be premium machines. And then if you put Invisiglass on there, they're premium machines. And then if you put Color DMD on there, they're, some of those machines that were set up in that booth had all of them, including the Pin Stadium. So they just look like, do you know what I mean? Like yeah. That's the ultimate mod, right? Like 4 things together, perfectly lit, can't see the glass, color display, and the pin cell. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how you pimp up your pinball.
That's how you pimp up a pinball machine. And people said that. I mean, Ed said you'll find that a lot of the machines there are pimped up, and it's true. Like, people bring up their machines that are like fully restored pinball machines with mods galore. And let's be honest, like, some machines were absolutely shit and wouldn't work at all. But, 80% of them were in really good condition. And it's a testament to everyone, I guess, that drove across the country to do that. So also met Gabe from Pintastic. He's a really nice guy. I'm not going to mention everyone. Please don't get offended if I didn't mention you, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning here and I'm on very limited sleep. Also met Robin, like the Robin from Pinside.
Yes.
He's a very chill guy, and I didn't have a Rusak for him, but John Cosson like bought a bunch of Rusaks from the airport, and he was like the backup Rusak guy. And I think between us, we distributed about 25 Rusaks. And I got to tell you, it was the talk of the show, because the amount of people that came up to me like, "Hey, I got the Rusak off you yesterday. Do you have more? Do you have 5? I'll buy 5." I'm like, "I got nothing, man. I'm not a Rusak distributor." But do I want to drop a hint? Someone in the US might be distributing Rusaks in the near future. I cannot mention who, but don't worry, you might be able to get it in your country to all of our US listeners.
Awesome.
Exciting news. What else? I met a guy, right, called... He rocked up to the Pinside meet and greet wearing a Coast to Coast pinball t-shirt. So the first thing I think is like, oh my God, Nate Shivers. I look down, his name is Nate. Like, oh my gosh. I look at his last name, Nate Heater. I'm like, what? Is that a joke? I'm like, Nate Shivers?
Oh,
and he's like, no, that's my actual name. He's the opposite of Nate Shivers. Shivers is cold. He is Nate Heater. He is the Nate that will warm up Nate Shivers. I just found that fucking, because he was also wearing a Coast to Coast shirt.
Hilarious.
Anyway, that's pretty much TPF, man. As I said, it's I don't know. I'm glad I went to Vegas before I went to TPF, because so many people were tired and like conking out early, and I've been surviving on such little sleep from Vegas that like it was a breeze for me. I didn't like drink crazy amounts of alcohol and stuff like that, but yeah, it was amazing.
Well,
I probably couldn't pick a highlight, but I did get to have dinner with Lyman Sheets. Not like a one-on-one romantic candlelit dinner. I mean, it was Lyman, and it was Francie and Francie's daughter. Straight down the middle, Zach, Jeff from This Week in Pinball, Blake, who did the artwork for Cosmic Chaos. There's a guy next to me, which I've forgotten his name 3 times, Super Rude. Jack Danger. Chris was there, and we went to this super expensive steakhouse, and just, I don't know. It's like you wish you were a fly on the wall. Well, I was a human being on the seat, listening to every conversation. So it was good. It was fun.
So
obviously, I can't repeat anything that was
no,
said there.
of course not. So then, if I can, then just indulge me going a little bit back before that. So you did go to Vegas. Did you get to go to the Pinball Hall of Fame?
Is this my This Week in Pinball? This Week in Pinball. Yeah, sure. Okay, I did go to the Pinball Hall of Fame, and it's quite a. I think it's like 15 minutes from the Strip.
Yep.
And the first thing I said to you, Marty, when I got there, I think, is that like, why are Vegas maps so deceptive? Like, everything, for some reason, on a Vegas map looks close.
Yep.
But then when you're there, it's like their blocks are like huge.
Yep.
If you go to the CBD in Melbourne, a block takes like 2 minutes to walk across. In Texas, it's like a 10-minute walk. Anyway, it's about it. Yeah, sorry, yeah, in Vegas. Pinball Hall of Fame. What can I say? It looks like nothing on the outside. You walk in, super loud, no entry fee. So you put stuff into the put quarters in, and the games work. First thing I played was the what's it called? Pinball Circus.
Yes. And
I managed to get to the top, and then I drained on my first game. So I was like, I'm not going all the way here and not hitting the jackpots. So I did it on my second game, and then I was like, okay, I never have to play that game again.
Yeah, it's not super deep, is it?
It's not super deep, and I after playing it, I'm just like, why would you remake it? I mean, like, Big Bang Bar, I understand. Kingpin, I understand, because those were games that were going into production, right? Wizard Blocks, I understand. That was a game that was planned for production. The reason why this game wasn't made, I believe, right, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't because the company went bust. It's because they thought it was a shit idea, right? Right?
It never got past the concept stage, yeah. Well, I know why they're trying to do it. It's the legacy of Python Angelo. They're doing it for him. It was kind of one of his dying wishes was that he would hope that somebody would, finish off what he started.
Okay.
So I get
I don't want to shit. I don't want to shit on someone's dreams who isn't alive. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's not that great. I mean, I know people that are going to be buying him are just going to be buying him to collect. I know I sound like I'm just being a realist, okay? It is cool because there's only two in the world, and one of them is in someone's basement, like a Larry DeMar or someone, I can't remember. And so the only one that you can play is in Vegas. So I went all the way on a plane for like 25 hours, and I got to play the only playable version out there. That is why I went and played it. I didn't play it because everyone said this is cool. And after I played it, I don't want to play it ever. I know it sounds horrible, but I don't have a desire to play it again.
Yep, fair enough. I probably did play it the most when I was there, just because it was a novelty, and I just wanted to experience as much as I could. But again, I sort of came away thinking, I don't know what you could do rules wise to make it more interesting, because each of the levels that you go up only have one rule. It is either hit the flipper to get it across to hit the elephant, and then there just wasn't that much to do.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to have to do something on the bottom play field to qualify my chances of getting up there.
No,
but I mean, I actually didn't really watch any video. I wanted to kind of be a surprise. You just shoot the ramp. You just shoot the ramp, and then you shoot the ramp again, and then you shoot the ramp, and then you're up.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you hit the teeth, and you get a jackpot.
Yep, that's what happens. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, the reason why I didn't play it more as well is because my name is Ryan, and I'm newly into pinball, and there are all these other games that I haven't played that are there, including Punchy the Clown, which is an absolutely amazing game. Now, that is a game that deserves a remake. Punchy the Clown, fucking amazing game.
It's not. It's terrible.
I know. who was next to this guy when he was in like a meeting and he was like, I'm going to create a game called Punchy the Clown, and this is the layout, and these are the call-outs. I'm going to get the most annoying motherfucker ever to do, hi, I'm Punchy the Clown. Oh my gosh. And then okay, let's put this in production. I don't know. I know this is like it's like a museum of pinball, and they have to have all these things there, but there are some bad games out there. What else? I played 24 for the first time.
Right, okay.
It shoots well, and it does have the worst, unenthusiastic call-outs ever.
Yeah.
That's my take from that game.
Yep. Well done.
What else do we have? The Batman 66 had, magnet wear on it, like the playfield was chipping. And the Guardians of the Galaxy Groot head at the New York arcade in Vegas had chin wear. The balls have been whacking his chin too hard,
right? And
it chipped as well. I'm not sure how many games these things are being played, but that's just something I wanted to kind of bring up. The games at Pinball Hall of Fame, some of them are in decent condition, but they're usually the newer ones. A lot of them kind of have quick fixes to get games working. I mean, some of the games you can't get any progression because things aren't working. Creature from Black Lagoon, you couldn't hit certain shots. But it's hard, man. I you know me and how kind of frustrated I get with things that aren't working. I couldn't even tell the attendant because they were so busy fixing ball. It's like they're always behind, right? And I don't think they can ever catch up unless they hire 10 people or something. I didn't even mention Batman 66, for example. Pretty damn new game. The last switch on the ball lock wasn't working, so every time I get multi-ball, it would sit there and it would do a ball search for 3 minutes or something until it spat out all the balls. It's the longest. It does a ball search maybe 10 times or however many, and then it spits out the balls. And then you lock one more, and it goes into ball lock number 1, and that treats it as ball lock number 3. It's just, I feel like saying, can I please have the keys, and I'll fix it for you for free in 2 minutes. But there's 20 pinball machines that are off. They're not even So how can you be that guy to say, can I fix the ball lock issue, which I can kind of get multi-ball, but it's just really annoying and it wastes 2 minutes every time I play. you just got to let them do what they do and just kind of keep on.
I know. And so my biggest disappointment when I was there was I played Apollo 13, which I haven't played for many, many, many years. And I finally, I got up to the 13-ball multi-ball.
Oh, no.
And it didn't work.
Oh, fuck me.
It didn't work. And I went, what have I come here for? That was, I wanted that moment. That moment would have satisfied me, but no, even that. But yeah, look, I also saw there were games there that had targets that had snapped off. They hadn't been replaced. Okay. Things like one of the games there, World Poker Tour, up the top playfield where you get ace in the hole, the little sort of teeth that trap the ball, they weren't releasing the ball, so once that happened, the game stopped. It was just some things you just think, oh, give me a day and I'll fix everything. But what you've also got to understand, though, is this place, when I was there as well, had a lot of people coming through.
Yeah, so, that's the really encouraging thing, is that regardless of what someone who plays a lot of pinball thinks, a lot of people that are there wouldn't know the difference between, like, the things that aren't, work and don't work. And it was the busiest pinball place that I've seen. I mean, besides TPF, of course, but like there was that New York arcade that I went to, and it was a ghost town. It was a super busy, hustling, bustling arcade with everyone was on every machine. And then you walk to the pinball area, and at that moment, there was no one there. I got a picture of every single machine unplayed, and the Pinball Hall of Fame is off the strip, and it's doing well. I mean, the quarters were getting every single row was full of people, and this is at 11 a.m. in the morning, so on a Tuesday or something. So I think they're doing okay for themselves, giving pinball a decent enough name and keeping it alive. And I saw Tim, I believe that's his name, and I wanted to say something to him. I was going to go all the way and not say anything. And I recently listened to his interview with Clay Harold on the Topcast, and it's an absolutely amazing story. I definitely recommend. I'll link in the show notes. He talks about. I think he just opened it at that point, and he talks about his pretty much his whole life story through arcades and pinballs and mafia, the belly mafia, and he was just super open in that interview, and. Someone said something to him thanks for keeping pinball alive. And he looked at the guy's face and said, thank you. And then I was right behind him, and he was soldering on a pinball machine. So I thought, okay, this is a good point to say something, because I didn't want to interrupt his soldering. I was like, hey, Tim. And I don't know how, I scared the fucking shit out of him. He lifted up his head because he wasn't expecting someone to say, hey. And he hit his head on a pop bumper. So he was pissed off. He was like, oh. I was like, oh, I just heard your podcast that you did with, yeah, it was a long time ago. See you later. It was I couldn't say anything after that. It was just I made the man hit his head on a pop bumper by scaring him. Yeah, and you did the one thing that he doesn't like people doing. Yeah, well done. What do I do? People it's scary. Everyone says that he's a grumpy guy, right? There's all that kind of pressure, and then you say something and he hits his head. It's game over, man. I just walk away. So you've now ruined it for the next 12 months for anybody that wants to say hello to him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's going to have blood on his head. So there you go. What else? So, you got to see Ricky Martin? Yeah, I saw 3 shows while I was there. I saw Ricky Martin. He's absolutely amazing. He hasn't aged in 20 years, and he put on an amazing show. And the only weird thing is that the Vegas crowd is very mixed. If Ricky Martin is playing in Melbourne, there's a certain type of demographic. Sure. If he's playing in Vegas, it's like anyone off the strip. There was a grandma in there, with me in the pit. There was yeah, it was a weird vibe, but and they're spoiled. I mean, he plays every day for a month or something, so the place was half full, but I enjoyed myself. Also, David Copperfield. Yep. Who I found out is a robot, because he does it twice a day, 7 days a week, and 80% of his stuff was kind of fluff. 20% was batshit crazy tricks that I have no idea how he does. Can someone please because I tried to Google how he does certain tricks, and it's like there are no you can't have your phone on you. You have to have your phone in a box, and if they see you with your phone out, they'll just like kick you out of the whole place. So there is no footage at all of the tricks he does, and people don't really talk about it online unless my Google unless my Google skills aren't good. But can someone tell me how he appears on a motorbike, how he makes a car appear out of nowhere, how the UFO appears above your head? Like it tripped me out.
I know.
Have you seen the show?
I saw David Copperfield a couple of years ago when I was in Vegas.
Did he do the UFO trick?
He didn't do the UFO trick. He made the car appear.
Yeah, that's freaky. Do you know how that happens?
Oh,
you do?
Yeah.
Okay, you can tell me after the show. I'm guessing it's the same as how he made the UFO, but I mean the UFO was huge. It was like bigger than like 3 rooms.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, we'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
The last show was Zumanity, which is recommended by someone who went to go see it with his wife, and I was there alone. So it was a very weird show to see alone because all the couples are like, "Oh wow, sexy show," and I'm sitting there by myself in between 2 couples, like, "Yep, I'm not having sex with anyone tonight." Okay, have you seen Zumanity?
I saw 3 Cirque du Soleils when I was there. So I saw the Beatles one, which was called Love. I saw the Michael Jackson one, which was spectacular. And I saw another one called K.A., which was a big martial arts one. Spectacular.
You're so alive.
Yeah.
Okay. When you watch Cirque du Soleil shows, do you ever wonder what these amazing acrobats look like naked?
No, I really don't.
Okay. Because that's been one of my life questions. Like, you see these beautiful acrobats do these tricks. I'm like, I wonder what her asshole looks like. All you need to do is go to Zumanity, and these questions will be answered. Because it is a Cirque du Soleil show performed naked, basically. And
wow.
I'm sorry to inform you, also couldn't take any photos, so I can't provide you with any footage of that. But it was a decent show. But I wish I was there with someone versus by myself. Vegas. Crazy place.
Did you get kicked in the nuts before or after that?
That was that night?
I don't know.
Yes, it was that night. After, okay, that's what I did. I didn't go home and make love to my wife. I went to Fremont Street, and someone was holding up a sign saying, okay, I was pretty drunk at this stage, just in case anyone's wondering. So Fremont Street is an absolutely amazing place. It's old Vegas. It's what Vegas used to be like back in the, 70s or 80s. I'm making up the number. There was a guy holding a sign saying, "Kick me in the nuts for $20. I bet you kick like a bitch. If I flinch, you get your money back ×2." So I was like, I'm not paying. So I was with a group of people, and like, that's stupid. And I was like, wait a second, like, where else am I going to get a chance to kick someone in the nuts? So I walked up to the guy and I said, "Are you wearing a box?" And he said, "No." I'm like, "Can you prove it?" He's like, "Go for it." I'm like, "No, like, show me you're not wearing a box." He's like, "Go ahead, have a feel." I'm like, "I'm not touching you." Anyway, I'm not telling you how we confirmed it, but we confirmed that he's not wearing a box. And I gave him $20, and I kicked him in the nuts as hard as I could, and he didn't flinch. And I was drunk. I was like, how the hell did he do this? So a girl in one of the groups, I didn't want to ask a guy. I went in the same position he was doing, and I said, "Can you just kick me the same way that I kicked him, but just super duper soft? I just want to see like if this is the trick that he's doing." So she was drunk as well. So what does she do? She kicks me in the nuts as hard as she could, and yeah, that's Vegas.
Well, I didn't know you did that, but I did get this message come through today. So this is how I got aware of it.
Good afternoon. This is Sheriff Tex Peckerwood of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. We are currently looking for an Australian man last seen wearing a hat to hide some long hippie hairdo. He goes under the alias of Ryan C. Our intel has told us that Martin is listed as the emergency contact. Ryan is being investigated in an assault charge here in Vegas for kicking one of our local boys in the testicles. Now, I know you Aussies get off on your rude nutsacks, but here in the United States of America, we settle settle our differences without playing hacky sack on a man's junk. We do it the old-fashioned way, pistols at dawn. Or the new way, public shaming on Facebook. Either is fine, but we do not allow some Aussie trying to kick a field goal through a man's uprights. Get your shit together, boy.
So
Now, there is a clue to who that was in one of the words, without. Go back and rewind it, listen to the word without, and see how it was pronounced. That'll give you a clue to who that was.
That was from
Without.
the Las Vegas Police Department. Definitely.
Sure. 100%. Oh, gosh.
Funny.
Vegas is at this point is a total blur. It was amazing. It's definitely a place that you have to go to. I think with friends, it's much more fun when you're there with friends. I wasn't there with anyone, so I made some friends and met up with them a couple of times. You will lose all your money in Vegas. Even if it's not gambling, the entire city is designed and built around sucking as much money out of your wallet as possible, and it does an amazing job of it because you cannot walk down the strip without zigzagging through all the stores. There's flashing lights everywhere. The showmanship in the light show of a fucking pharmacy, is better than the lights outside any store in Australia. And that just proves how insane Vegas is. A pharmacy will go through more effort to flash lights in your face, say, hey, I'm here, walk in, than any store in Australia. A pharmacy.
Right.
That just blew my mind. And I couldn't sleep on the first day because I went to sleep and I had bright white lights flashing with my eyes closed. It's amazing. I had enough of Vegas while I was there. I mean, March Madness started, which I didn't even know what it was. It's everyone comes to Vegas to watch and gamble on college basketball teams playing a bracket elimination all weekend long. It's a weird culture, and apparently they all come to Vegas because you can't bet anywhere else in the US. How weird is that? I mean, you can carry guns and you can do all this weird stuff, and you can smoke weed now, but you can't gamble in anywhere but Vegas unless you gamble legally. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, something I learned. I mean, I'm learning a lot about these Americans.
Awesome.
So that's it. One more thing. Sorry. In-N-Out Burger is amazing.
I know.
White Castle is possibly the worst fast food I've ever had in my life. It makes McDonald's look like some premium Michelin-star restaurant shit. Have you had White Castle?
No, I've had In-N-Out. In-N-Out is spectacular. I have not had White Castle.
Okay. It is... Think about if you were to sit down on a table and say, I want to design a food that the person who digests it pretty much doesn't have to do anything. It's already in shit form. That's what they did. It's not food. Think about a McDonald's cheeseburger, 10 times worse than that.
Oh, God. Okay.
That's White Castle.
Wow. Sounds terrible. I'm looking forward to having someone on there next. So people need to tell me... Well, yes. I've not done it. The only thing I did this week was I organised my my holiday for Pinburg. So for those people, you tell me whether there's a White Castle in Toronto, Pittsburgh, Chicago, or San Francisco, because they are the 4 places that I'm going to.
I mean, I don't recommend people avoid that place. I mean, you have to do it just to say that you've tasted it. And
that's why I want to do it.
You might like it, yeah.
I love fast food, so I've experienced some crappy stuff just because it's famous. So
I'm pretty sure I haven't gained any weight because of the amount of walking and standing that I've been doing. But I've been eating absolute junk. I haven't had one healthy meal here.
Well, there you go. So, no, look, all my week has just been dealing with travel agents and getting that all sorted. But it's confirmed. I've now seen my name at Replay FX, confirmed player for Pinburg. So, I'm going.
Everyone's like, you coming back with money for Pinburg? I'm like, no. What? Okay, next year. I'm like, You don't understand. Pinburg's the best. It's the best.
I know. It's the best if you're a tournament player. And look,
people said it's good even if you're not a tournament player. I mean, it is just a social gathering of pinball people.
I know, but I did also hear that most of the pinball machines that are there are being used for the tournament. So there is some others on the outside, but I don't know.
Okay.
I think you did really well going to Texas Pinball Festival. That's where you should be, and this is where I should be. But on saying that, I'm tempted next year to go to Texas Pinball Festival.
Ooh, I mean the tournament is 160 people, so I guess it's nothing to be sneezed at. But I mean it's a limited entry, 20 things. So if you mess up, it's not like you can keep on going back in.
Well, no. If I went to Texas Pinball Festival, I wouldn't go for the tournament because I think that would just take away time from experiencing it. For me, Texas Pinball Festival would be the festival. Pinburg is the tournament.
Okay. Fair enough. So okay, those cities again were Toronto. What's in Pittsburgh? Pinburg. Oh my gosh, that's interesting. Oh god.
Yeah, good one. And then Chicago.
Okay, it is 3 a.m. Chicago. Wait,
yep.
What are you doing in Chicago?
Don't
Just
know.
chilling.
Stern.
Okay. So yeah, a private Stern tour with our mate Gomez.
Sure.
Yeah.
Get in touch with me, George. Well, why not? I would do it. Why not? I'd love to see their secret facility and steal all their secrets and then report it first exclusively on our podcast.
San Francisco. Okay. Why
Free
not?
Gold. Free Gold Watch.
Really, you gonna go for that? Okay.
But you know that is a pinball venue, right?
Yes, I have no idea why it's called Free Gold Watch, but I know I've heard it before.
Yeah. Well, no. Look, I'm really going to have 4 solid days of pinball in Pittsburgh, and then outside of that will just be little scatterings of it.
Are you going by yourself or?
No. Going with friend.
Okay. Marty.
Yes.
Some pinball news you've written down here. What's Pinball 102?
Okay. So, do you know what Pinball 101 is?
I've heard about it, but I mean, you can't watch it online. You have to order like a DVD and put it in a DVD player. Is that right?
No. Yeah. So this was.
Do you have it?
No, I don't. So this was an instructional DVD that was released by Keith and Randy Elwin, and I don't know. It was a long time ago. I think that it was made, but Pinball 102 has just been released.
Cool. So is this all of his secrets to become like the world's greatest pinball player?
Yeah, I'd say it would be. And I like that because, again, it's like, well, I'm going to show you what to do, but it doesn't mean you can do it. So, I guess my week in pinball, so when I streamed on Sunday night, I had somebody, good friend of the podcast, and also of the stream, Paul RJ. He's written into us a couple of times, and he's always said, how can I become a better player? And everyone plays differently now. So I had him over for a tutorial, and I was just doing like some of the basics, like dead bouncing and post passing and all that kind of stuff. But you can be shown what to do. It doesn't mean you can do it because you've got to just do it over time to get good at it. So I think it's great. Keith Elwin's going, here's all my secrets. Good luck doing it.
Cool. Are you going to order one, or are we going to order one, or do you get one for free and then we talk about it? No.
No,
we're not that big yet. You get it?
No, I'll get it. For sure.
Okay. Can you get 101 for me? Because I got to start from the start.
All right. I will pay for both of them. That's the kind of nice guy.
No, I'll do. I haven't bought you anything back from the US. I'll buy 101. You buy 102. Let's just
you're
get
still
shit
there.
together.
You've got plenty of time to go and buy me something really special. So
okay. Maybe I'll buy you something from Deep Root. Is that our next topic of conversation?
Well, it is only because I think it was in the flyer of Texas Pinball Festival, but there was a note there from Deep Root saying, "Thanks for your support. Texas Pinball Festival rocks because of you and your machines. And in 2019, Deep Root will rock TPF, the 5th day of Deep Root."
Ooh, so the 4 days will be leading up to it, and then TPF next. Is this why you want to go to TPF next year, Marty?
Yeah, I want to be deep rooted.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the big topic of conversation from TPF. It wasn't Alice Cooper or anything. It is the Deep Root logo, the new logo that they showed. Have you seen it, Marty?
No. I mean,
have you actually, like, are you pretending, or have you actually not seen it?
I didn't notice the logo. I just saw the text.
Oh, shit. Okay. Do I have a picture of this? This is going to have to be edited because it's probably going to take me 5 minutes to find a photo.
Oh my
Can you
god!
see-
It's
Here it
like
is.
They
Okay.
know. It's like they know.
Okay. Let's not like speak in code here. Okay, that's not the head-to-head way. Martin, what do you see when you see this new logo?
It looks
What
like
do you
something's
see?
being inserted into an anus.
It's been inserted, but it also has two straps. It's like a ball gag, but an ass gag.
It's
It
like
has
a
to
strap
stay
on.
in there.
Yep.
If you want to be deep rooted, then it needs to stay in.
Oh
my gosh!
We can't keep that in.
We have to, please. Everyone was talking about it at TPF. Oh my
Okay.
gosh!
All right, it's hilarious.
Come on.
Well, I think good on them. They have now become aware. Hilarious.
I mean, there were deep root signs everywhere. I mean, they had like big banners up. Like they obviously chucked a lot of money and at TPF. So this guy is super serious about forming his company. That's deep root.
Right. Well, so here's let's just quickly talk. Not in detail about Texas Pinball Festival again, but people have been saying for the last couple of years that Texas Pinball Festival is the new expo. And before I ask my question that I want to ask you, since our last episode, Mike from Pinball Expo has come out saying a few things, and there is a letter that came from him formally of Pinball Expo. He says, "Greetings to all past, present and future Pinball Expo vendors and attendees. As you may have heard, Rob Burke and I have parted ways after 33 years of putting on the Pinball Expo. Rob decided he no longer wanted to be a partner and chose to go his own separate way. Decision of his own choosing, blah, 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 blah. There will be 2 shows. There will be a pinball. Can't use the name Pinball Expo, will be called something else, but the show must go on," is effectively what he was saying. So that, and now what you've been to Pinball Expo and you've been to Texas Pinball Festival. What would you say? And I don't think it's a 1 or 0 moment here where the one's better and the other one's crap, but how do they compare?
The biggest difference is that at Pinball Expo, and this is Ed Vanderveen said this in our interview with him, the guy who runs Texas Pinball Festival. At Expo, you only have pinball people there. They don't advertise. They got a shitty 1980s website. There's industry people there. There's people that are obsessed with pinball. That's it. They got a competition there. At Texas, it was packed. A bit more packed than I would like. I would like to walk up to any machine and even like a shitty machine, like an EM or a Salsa, and be able to play it. And that's what you can kind of, not that there were many machines at Chicago Expo, but you could do that because there weren't that many people there. Texas was so busy, and a lot of the people there, I would say, I'm just going to pull this figure out of my ass, 50% of people there weren't pinball people. And that's amazing for pinball. Not amazing for my selfish desires to play pinball machines quicker than I could. It's not really a horrible thing to say about Texas, but Texas was absolutely packed. There were a lot of people there that weren't pinball people at there as well. So there's a lot more games there. Texas wins on that front. The people there were a lot nicer. The hotel, I think both hotels were good. I don't know. It had a better vibe. Pinball Expo was very serious, whereas Texas, everyone's just having fun.
Well, as I've said, the Pinball Expo it's an expo, it's an industry expo, whereas Texas Pinball Festival, well, there you go. It's a festival for the people. So they have very different target markets.
Yeah, I mean, I went there. I went there a weird year. The year I went was the 30th anniversary one, so I felt like I was kind of funding Stern's celebration. It was a weird feeling, but that's what Dialed In was revealed and everything. It is. I mean, everyone says it's the best. It's so far beyond, the Chicago Expo, and now the Chicago Expo is being split up into 2. I mean, there's kind of no competition, and I know there's other ones out there. And I met Gabe from Pintastic, and he does apparently an amazing job, and he's growing that year by year. I mean, there's others out there. I mean, Americans are really spoilt for choice because they can point to something and say it's not that good. Whereas if we had anything even remotely similar to that in Australia, it would be like mind-blowing, right? I mean, what's our biggest event every year now?
Flip Out? Flip Out was big.
Yeah. Flip Out big. What was the other one in Caves Beach? What's it called again? Pinfest.
Yep.
I mean, that how many? Is that like 80 machines?
Yep.
Yeah. Like in the
They're not
in
massive.
the US. Yeah, I mean, that would be a bad event. But in Australia, it's a lot smaller. People are more spread apart. Yeah. I mean, maybe one day we'll have something really big.
So how many pinball machines were there, do you think, at TPF?
Somewhere, I mean, I saw an Instagram post from Stern, I think, saying over 450 machines.
That's
but
a lot.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, you could say there was 200 or 450, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference because they're not in a grid like Pinburg style thing. I mean, it really was. You couldn't see the back of the place at any point until you were at the back because there was black big dividers making people kind of circle through the entire place.
So, with that many machines, did they have a Stern Rolling Stones?
No, they did not.
So
I definitely would have played that. No. They didn't have one at Pinball Hall of Fame either.
Right. I'll send you a note. Someone told me of where there is one
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne. They played it last week. So let's go out and have some fun.
Okay. Yeah, let's stream it.
We should. Oh, yeah. Terrible. Anyway, so let's just go. I don't know whether we've got time to do a slam the top 100.
Let's do a slam. This is your chance to destroy me because my brain isn't working as much as it does.
I don't. Let's do one next week because I want you to have more time to come back. All I want to say is that last week we did have a slam the top 100 and it was Shadow versus Medusa.
How did we go with that, Marty? How did we go with that?
Funny you should say that because Shadow got 36 votes. To Medusa's,
you see George Gomez?
Yep. To Medusa's 8. And that's all well and good. I just want to call out a few people. Stacey Borg, Daniel Luke, Axel Bendis, Bruce Nightingale. I mean, Paul RJ, Jeff Teolis, Zach from Straight Down the Middle, Richard RGR, you people, Nicholas, Peter, Mark. I thought you were my friend. I thought you actually understood a good, well-constructed argument. Well, you don't because you voted for the Shadow. So, there you go.
Know
all
you
these
were never going to win that.
No, I had absolutely... do you know why I had no chance? No one's ever played Medusa. They don't even know what it is. It's an old game and it's... You know, even Daniel Luth, who voted against it, he actually had a Medusa, but he sold it. So,
oh wow! Okay, he sold it.
Nobody knows Medusa. It was going to be a very tough ask.
Do you think people choose favourites? I've noticed that Mr. Lucas Barton has voted for you every single time.
He wants me.
Okay, come on, Lucas.
No,
vote with your heart, not your wallet.
He understands. I give the better argument. You just happen to have picked the better machine, and
okay.
And this last time it was random.
Okay. All right. Should we head to the mailbag?
Let's go to the mailbag, shall we? So we've actually just got a couple of mails here. First one from Pat Nichols. Thank you, Pat. Unfortunately, you got trapped in our spam trap again. Just wanted to say that the Death by Pinball, we talked about this, the Death by Pinball event at Netherworld is a really fantastic event. So similar to Stu Thornton, we spoke about Stu. I got up at 4 a.m. to fly up to Brisbane, played pinball for 18 hours and flew home the next day on a 9 a.m. flight, no accommodation booked. It'll be interesting to see how the extra 6 hours will affect people this year. Last year, at the end of the competition, people continued to play on for a while for fun. It was great to see that even the staff members of Netherworld were playing in the competition as well. They could have had Easter weekend elsewhere, but chose to spend it at work. Shows the great environment that Jimmy and Ben and others have set up there. So thanks for that email, Pat.
Who else do we have? Bjorn Jarvis.
So Bjorn sent through. There was an article in I think it was in the Canberra Times, maybe.
Sydney Morning Herald.
Sydney Morning Herald, talking about the Vice City players, so the Canberra Pinball Club, and there were some interviews with people there. So we will link that in the show notes as well. But we love it when pinball gets a bit of publicity.
Yep. And the last one. This is our Canadian friends. I think it was a Canadian.
Maybe.
I've forgotten. Yeah. Nevis.
What
did he say?
This is quite an interesting email just out of the blue that said, Ryan came all the way to Texas to bring...
What was the subject of the email, Marty?
It was Lame Ass Martin.
Okay, now read it.
And it says, Ryan came all the way up to Texas to bring me a kangaroo ball sack, and you didn't even fucking show up. Thanks, Davis. That's great. Yeah, well, I wanted to go, but as I said, I did reply to him and I said, look, this was all about Ryan wanting to go to TPF. I'm going to go to Pinburg this year. Who knows? It's fair game next year.
Okay, I recommend you get a shirt that says, no, Ryan is not here, because next time I go to TPF, I'm going to get a t-shirt that says, no, Marty is not here. Because like for the first day, it was, oh, hey, Ryan C. Where's Marty? Oh, it's not coming? I just want a t-shirt. I'm like, just read the shirt, please. I don't want to answer this for the 15th time today.
Just a card or a little handheld sign that you can just go, not here.
Yeah, like, what's his name?
It'd be really disappointing if I do go and no one asks after you.
Harsh. Shall we call it a day? So at 3 a.m. I can go to bed, and I'm doing New York tomorrow. Hey, I might be playing this week in the Sunshine Laundromat monthly competition.
Well,
Greg Poverelli was on the flight, and he invited me. He was like, hey, if you're going to play in a tournament here, because he didn't play at Texas, come play in our thing. And apparently machines are really well set up and
they're
brutal
amazing.
And competition form. So
they are. They are
I'll do it.
Very tough, but immaculate condition. So Sunshine Laundromat is amazing.
So I was going to go there anyway. Yeah, I was going to go there anyway, so I might as well time it to go there on Wednesday night. So, I think next time we record, I will possibly be back in Australia, or we might miss a day because I think I might be like lost through time. It takes 2 days to come back, so I'm not sure when we're going to record next, but we'll see everyone next week.
If you do want to get in contact with us, facebook.com/head2headpinball. Twitter is at H2H Pinball. Email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or Instagram is head2headpinball.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you, everybody.
See y'all later.
Bye, everyone.